Welcome to Between the Business Cards, a podcast that helps business professionals take their network and sales skills to the next level. And now, here are your hosts, Martina and Brandon Suba.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Between the Business Cards. I'm Brandon Suba with Valley Construction.
And I'm Martina with CenterSphere.
And we're here to give you tips, tricks, and just some fun stuff that we've seen in the networking and sales world to hopefully improve your referability. That's a big word. Your referability, and maybe making better connections while you're out there investing time in your referral marketing. We've done a lot of fun stuff so far. We've got a lot of episodes out.
We have. We've been going for a while. Hopefully you've had the opportunity to tune into some of those. If you haven't, definitely go back. And we try and name them with what we're talking about so that you can just search for those specifically. Also, if you're looking for something when it comes to one-to-ones or introductions or whatever that looks like.
And so we're now to where we're going to get to some fun stuff. We have a long list of things that we wanted to talk about. We've made the big commitments of kind of sticking to a plan, and now we're going off the rails. We've got some random topics for these next few weeks that we're going to share with you, but they're ones that we had on the list because we saw something that sparked the idea, and we're going to get into those. So today, we're going to talk about networking before you need it. And I'll admit, this is one topic that I kept pushing down on the list.
Well, because we understand what it is, but, sometimes it's hard to actually put in some examples and things like that. So we brainstormed on that, and I think we came up with some good stuff.
So let's start with networking as we know it. And this is what we've talked about the whole season, ever since we started this. We believe that we go out and we network to find referral opportunities for a possible closed business of sales that then grows our business, fills our pipeline, gives us commission, whatever that looks like for your sales cycle. That's why we network.
Yeah, and that's what I mainly get phone calls for when people are looking to get into networking, is they're wanting those types of returns on their investment of time. But there's a lot of other returns on investment that come residually or just kind of organically, just because you are in the room building those relationships.
And what we don't realize is you're building more in that relationship than just the transaction. And we've talked about that, right? Mm-hmm. And so it takes a lot longer. I mean, I've been networking for a while, and I can almost always look back and say, I had that opportunity, and we'll talk about different opportunities, but I had that opportunity because I met this person while networking, or because I was in a group with them, and the relationships that we build, and the credibility that you gain. It sure beats the heck out of things like a resume or interviews. And a lot of the times you'll find, and this is one of the points I'm getting ahead of myself, but a lot of times you'll find people in the network have more opportunity instantly because they've already done all the credibility pieces, where if you're interviewing to hire somebody, you're starting from square one, from, again, their resume to that interview to then the first day you bring them on. So, but let's talk about one we've touched on before, though.
Sure.
Gaining and networking, the golden goose. So if you network well, you're meeting people that are going to be referral sources for you. Mm-hmm. So 2 main referrals, the one, the sale today, the golden goose. We've done an episode on it, so I'm not going to dig any more on that. So I'm going to let you take, since I've already touched
Since you already talked about it a little bit. So a lot of times we have people who are in a variety of different careers, but it might not be an industry that they want to be passionate about being in for the rest of their life, right? Our life ebbs and flows and changes, and sometimes those opportunities are kind of forced upon us, for a lack of a better term there, and sometimes it's something that we choose, but the relationships that you've built in CenterSphere can actually lead to that next thing. So we actually have several examples, and we're not going to name names of people. The people listening to this podcast that fall into this category who have already experienced this would definitely be able to tell you they've either gotten the promotion, gotten the new lead on a job, or maybe they found themselves needing a job, and instead of those resumes and going through the process that would be considered traditional, I guess, they're going more through a relationship aspect. And I think there was a statistic out there recently that just said that there is a very large percentage of those next opportunities that come from relationships versus you necessarily going through those cold application processes.
And I am one of those that had to ebb and flow the last few years, and I've learned a lot, and I don't regret anything that has happened. I've been very fortunate family's fed, we have the roof over our house, all that wonderful stuff, right?
Good deal.
But, uh, and I love LinkedIn. We love LinkedIn. But really, I had no luck in LinkedIn. When you have a sales background on your resume, it doesn't always translate well to the algorithms of expectations. Even though you may have phenomenal people skills, that doesn't translate to what it's specifically looking for.
Sure.
So I struggled a lot with just doing the normal applications. I did it because that's what we know. That's more tradition. But it has always been the relationship. And I'm gonna use mortgages in my example. So when I wanted to get off the road, when I needed a career change, I knew somebody from a group that did mortgages, and she was looking to grow her team. I had worked at a bank before. I had been a teller before. And so when I reached out to her, it was more, I know you can network because I've seen you do it, and that's the relationship piece. I know you have a little banking experience, so at least you won't be coming in completely cold. And then mortgages, I mean, ask any lender, they learn something new every day anyways. So then it's just a matter of being on the right team. And unfortunately, I was on a very good, I say unfortunately, fortunately, I was on a very, very good team. So that part just led to itself. But I would have never been considered for a mortgage lender if I didn't have that relationship that I had built over 5 years. I knew this lady for 5 years before it was even part of a conversation. So as your world changes and careers come and go, I mean, we even know some people, when they started their career, they loved it and everything was amazing. And then a culture shift happened. Maybe it was a merge or a new owner came in, and all of a sudden, they don't want to go to, they dread going to the office now.
Yeah, I actually have gotten phone calls, probably last month or two, or two even, of people who are like, do you know of anybody who's hiring, anybody in the network you can connect me with? They were networking with me long before they needed that, right? They were networking with me and developing a relationship with me. So like you said, those credibility pieces are already taken care of. I know more about them. I know who they are. I know how passionate they are about the people that they work with, no matter what they're doing, things along those lines. I even came into my role through being in the network, networking, and getting to know a person who was doing this role before me. And she said, oh my goodness, I think you'd be great at this. And so it was just kind of one of those things that led to me being in this role. And I think we have so many examples that we could list on that. So if you are one of those people, we're excited that you use the network to be able to launch yourself into that next path. And if you are thinking about that and you're wondering if networking can be good for that, it absolutely can.
Oh, huge. And again, it's a long game.
Yep.
You can't go join a group and then ask everyone for a new job. But once you've had that time, again, it takes out a big piece of is this the right person? No, you already know who this person is. Now it's just, are they going to fit in the situation? And a lot of times, I mean, we can all learn.
Sure.
We can all learn.
Now, we've also had things, and I'm going to kind of transition to the next point here is, we've got those connections that we're building, and sometimes we're not necessarily able to use them right then. Like we have somebody who's like in the retail banking space, and then all of a sudden they move into more of a commercial banking space. But if they have been building relationships with the commercial people in the room, they were networking before they actually needed that as they got this promotion or this job change. Also, sometimes companies take a shift in what they're actually looking at doing business with. And if you've already developed relationships with people who are in those next industries, that's a really great thing for your company.
I think construction is a huge one in this because you do have the residential, the commercial, outside construction, inside construction, remodeling, new builds. You have so many different options, and it translates well as a person.
Sure.
Right? If I can do this, then this kind of makes more sense. But your network, it doesn't always translate as easily. But again, the longer that you're building your network before you need it, the more likely you're starting to find these people. Oh my gosh, I've golfed with this person. I've had coffee with this person 3 times. We've talked about what they do. And not that I'm a competitor now, but now we're in a similar industry and we can work together. And it's kind of fun too.
Right.
Like it's fun to get that promotion where maybe now you're at a higher level of clientele and you're able to go network with some people that you knew and got along with. Now you can actually like make business happen, and what products they offer now fit your clientele. So now you get to work together, and it's invigorating. It's exciting.
Sure.
But again, it doesn't happen overnight necessarily. No. But how many people sitting at an office that aren't out networking actively can get a promotion and look at them and say, I already got 5 people I'm going to meet with next week because I've been waiting for this. Where I think a lot of the time it is, I'm excited to get this promotion, probably more money in it, but now I'm really starting over.
Right. And you don't want to be in that boat, which is why if you've already built those relationships,
No, and ultimately, if you're getting the undertone here, if you think you've out-networked yourself, or if you don't need networking anymore, life is crazy. Life is crazy. And sometimes it is activity, right? Just activity, staying on top of the one-to-ones, going to your meeting, even if you are in that transition. You know what? Maybe that's what sparked this. I think somebody was in a transition and they were going to leave their group, and they didn't. And when the transition happened, it was a huge benefit that they stayed in the group.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually what's, because again, I've pushed this topic for
we
like
have
a
pushed
year.
it. We've pushed it a little bit, but we've done so because I think the time needed to be right for all of these different things. The last point that we have on this is sometimes your needs that are coming down the pike are things that you didn't necessarily anticipate, but they're personal. They don't necessarily fall inside that professional realm. So you're networking before there's a storm that does something to your roof, right? Before a backed up sewage line, before you decide to do a remodel and it's a lot of fun, or before you decide you need business coaching, right? Or you get told, hey, probably be a good idea if you got some business coaching. You know, whatever that happens to look like, when you start to have those personal needs, it can be a really nice thing to have this pocket full of resources. Because you didn't need them right away, but then the car died, or you had a rock hit your windshield, or life happened. Literally, all of these things are examples of how I personally have used the network.
The windshield one, I was walking into an event, chatting. I'm going to use his name. Him and I become good friends with Russ. And I look at him and I go, "Wait, you do windshields, don't you?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Let me show you mine." I made his Facebook page. I think it was the biggest rock hit on my windshield that he's done yet.
Wow.
So his Facebook was what you can repair and what you can't repair as a rock chip, and mine was unrepairable. I got a new windshield.
So
It's
sorry.
as much as I travel, I kind of feel that I was overdue. So it was just part of it.
There we
But
go.
again, you have a good referral or someone that you know and actually maybe like, and you feel you can trust,
Sure.
that you can have come do that repair. And I think that goes back to what we've talked about before. Again, just because you can't refer everybody in the room right now doesn't mean it's not going to happen eventually. When we were talking about the show, a estate planner or an estate attorney, right? We don't really want to talk about it. We don't want to accept it,
Yeah.
but it is part of life.
It is.
And the more knowledge you have in that, the more likely you are to go and take that on. So that is the great piece of networking and getting all this knowledge that you learn at your group, that you learn at events, you learn by meeting people. So if you're having that moment where you just don't think you need to network anymore, there's so much more to it than just your next sale.
Yeah, and it really, when you start doing it with that in mind of I'm going to continue to build these relationships because I never know where they're going. We always talk about you don't know who somebody knows. You also don't know when you're going to need someone. So I think that it's a great point to just say, get out there, keep doing it, keep putting yourself out there, and find value in it, even if you have to change the lens at which you're looking at it through.
Ooh, wow.
I know.
We're going to use that as a quote for a book. All right, well, check us out on the Centersphere YouTube page. You can see we actually did not coordinate our clothes today.
We did not.
It's never meant to be, and today it was not, which is perfectly okay. Makes it easier for editing purposes. And please check us out on any of the ways that you listen to this podcast. Please share, leave us comments. Again, we're still got quite a few recorded yet. We kind of try to stay on top of it because life happens, we know, because Martina and I both have plenty of fun in our families every week. But we'll get to those comments, and we'll get a show put out for you if there's something specific that you want to hear about. Other than that, we will talk to you on the next